What this comes down to is, do you have faith that the advance of science is going to solve a lot of our problems? Now, what is amazing is that all the people who say that they love science so much, they don't seem to have a lot of faith in science. They don't seem to have a lot of faith in innovation. That is the actual thing that science does, right? It's not just that science can measure the changing temperature over time. Climate models are very often wrong because this is really complicated stuff. It's not just people falsifying data or being willful. This is difficult stuff. But what science is really good at is inventing new, amazing things. Why would you count on human beings suddenly exercising self-control as a species, as opposed to innovating in new and in amazing ways? That's the thing you should actually be betting on. The left doesn't want to bet on that. Instead, what the left would like to do is generate policy in the here and now that makes people suffer to no apparent end. Because, by the way, all the measures that they are taking right now, Kyoto Protocol, Paris agreements, that ain't going to do diddly squat in the long run when it comes to whatever carbon emissions are being put up into the atmosphere and what is going to stay there. Now, that's not going to stop our idiot elites like Prince Harry from talking about things like climate change. So Prince Harry, for some reason, is now speaking at the UN. I don't know why. He's the son who wasn't good enough to stay in the family. He's the one who married Meghan Markle and then proceeded to alienate himself from the entire royal family and then come to the United States. And I was under the impression we fought a revolution so he didn't have to listen to dolts like Prince Harry. I thought that was the whole point. We didn't want a royal family over here because then you have moron inbred royals explaining to us exactly how the world ought to work while being bossed around by their significantly more vocal spouses. I don't think anybody was particularly interested in this, but the Duke of Sussex decided that he was going to appear at the United Nations. I will say that it was pretty hilarious that no one showed up for the speech. If you actually watch the speech, there's no one in the audience. Even the UN, which like you're being paid to listen to crap speeches, even they were like, no, I can't do it, man. I'm going to go get myself a parking ticket I'm never going to pay. Apparently, at this event, he talked a lot about climate change. He highlighted the havoc of it. And he said, how many of us feel battered, helpless in the face of a seemingly endless stream of disasters and devastation? Here is Prince Harry, who, why? Just why? Here he is.
This has been a painful year in a painful decade. We're living through a pandemic that continues to ravage communities in every corner of the globe. Climate change wreaking havoc on our planet, with the most vulnerable suffering most of all. The few weaponizing lies and disinformation at the expense of the many. And from the horrific war in Ukraine to the rolling back of constitutional rights here in the United States, we are witnessing a global assault on democracy and freedom, the cause of Mandela's life.
He's talking about he's a member of he's only famous because he's a member of a royal family. Find a better spokesperson, people. He's literally famous because he was born into a family that is like pure aristocratic hierarchy happening right there. He's literally a member of a monarchic family explaining why democracy is being threatened because of Roe versus Wade being overturned. And then he's jabbering about the effects of climate change. Like he knows anything about climate change. Prince Harry's the expert. That guy. Oh my goodness. He's just become worse and worse. The Meghan Markle thing. I'm with Piers Morgan. Large-scale mistake for our neighbors across the sea. Him talking about the world being on fire again. He said, these historic weather events are no longer historic. More and more, they are part of our daily lives, and this crisis will only grow worse. Oh, he lives on a giant estate in California with his B-level actress wife, who married into a royal family to become a princess and then whined about it for years on end, claiming that everyone was racist to her after the entire British press talked about how wonderful she was, specifically because of her intersectional identity. These are the people who are deciding policy. It's people like Prince Harry. They're no smarter than Prince Harry. They're no wiser than Prince Harry. They're all just kind of like Prince Harry. They're sort of a hereditary upper class that have decided for everyone else that you don't get the air conditioning. Because the air conditioning, you know, it might contribute to future global warming. You're like, wait, it's really hot outside now. I need the air conditioning today. Like, well, you know what? We can't let you have oil and natural gas because 100 years from now, there might be incremental increase in the temperature that will cause mass migration. They're like, there's mass migration right now because of a giant war happening between Russia and Ukraine that is resulting in widespread devastation, not just in the region, but also globally because of the skyrocketing price of food. That's causing migration crisis now, today. And you have our sort of elite class, the Prince Harry group, who are still making this case. And we're supposed to listen to them. And this sort of scorn drips from the people who believe that it's their job to rule others. There's an op-ed from a woman named Margaret Rankle, a contributing opinion writer, who covers flora, fauna, politics, and culture in the American South, which is a hell of a beat. I don't know how you get flora and fauna and politics. Like, oh, wow, the lady who's really good at gardening. Let's get her take on the latest election down south. So she has a piece in the New York Times today titled, "Dear Liberals, Come On Down." And she's not making the case that liberal people should move to Nashville because Nashville's a great place to live. She's making the case that Nashville's a hellhole, so we need to come in and conquer Nashville from the outside. No, thank you. In fact, we moved our entire company to Nashville to avoid people like you. That was the whole idea. You think people are moving down to Florida, moving down to the American South because they want to hear from the same liberals who they are attempting to escape right now? They just follow people around shouting at them. They're the hall monitors of planet Earth, these folks. It's like everybody just wants to stay away from them. They're following you around, trying to give you some sort of detention card. It's amazing. So she has an entire piece about how terrible the South is, but you should come down here and help her make it not terrible. Again, she says red state legislators have perfected the art of voter suppression, which you probably know. They haven't, by the way. They've also gerrymandered the South's blue cities into political irrelevance, which you may not. Well, I mean, gerrymandering has happened at every level. There has been no net gain for Republicans versus Democrats nationally this year. Come help us grow, says this liberal. The new gerrymandered district lines are based on current data. With your help, we can outwit craven GOP calculations about where residents reliably vote Republican. Once you're here, you can help us registered voters in disenfranchised communities and help drive them to the polls on Election Day. Changing what happens in red states is the surest way to change what happens in Congress. But railing on social media from your blue state won't change a thing down here. If you want to change Joe Manchin's mind about climate change, you'll need to move to West Virginia. Yeah, good luck with this. Good luck. Yeah. The dripping scorn that so many people in this sort of particular coterie of humanity have for the rest of humanity while wanting to rule them is truly, you can't govern the people you hate. You can't govern people you think are idiots. You can't govern people who you treat with utter disdain and say to them, we're going to make your life actively worse today in pursuit of some glorious utopia in the future. You can't do that. And then when you fail, claim that people are somehow, it's their fault that you failed. I know what you're thinking. It's time to binge some more Ben Shapiro videos. Well, you are right. You should. But first, like and subscribe. Perfect. I'll see you in the next video.